A year ago, Indiana football was treated like a punchline. The losingest program in FBS history wasn't supposed to have staying power. Critics mocked the schedule, questioned their playoff legitimacy, and dismissed the Hoosiers as a one-year fluke after a first-round loss to Notre Dame. Ranked number 20 entering 2025 and picked to finish 6th in the Big Ten, Indiana was expected to quietly fade back into irrelevance. Cute story, they said. Real football belonged to real blue bloods. Then Curt Cignetti stared straight through the noise. Google him. The man simply does not lose. Fueled by doubt and disrespect, Indiana completed one of the most improbable turnarounds in sports history. The Hoosiers went 16-0, won their first national championship, and became the first major college football team since Yale in 1894 to finish undefeated. From becoming the first Division I program to reach 700 losses just 3 years earlier, Indiana now stood on top of college football. It's probably one of the greatest stories of all time, Cignetti said, and few could argue otherwise. The national championship game against Miami wasn't flashy, but it was definitive. Late in the fourth quarter, up 3 points and facing 4th and 4 from the Miami 12-yard line, Cignetti made the call that defined the season. Instead of playing it safe, he trusted his quarterback. Fernando Mendoza kept the ball, drove through the middle of the defense, broke multiple tackles, and stretched across the goal line. That moment summed up everything Indiana had become: absolute belief in preparation, players, and self. Asked whether Indiana qualified as a Cinderella story, Cignetti pushed back, asking for a definition. By any measure, it fit. A program once synonymous with losing had risen to national prominence, defeating Miami in its own stadium 27-21 to claim the title. That's just fact, Cignetti said, pointing to the records broken, the wins accumulated, and the expectations shattered over the past 2 seasons. Even as the moment felt surreal, Indiana's rise was undeniable. This transformation began in 2023 when Indiana fired head coach Tom Allen and committed to fully rebuilding its football program. University President Pamela Whitten and Athletic Director Scott Dawson laid the foundation, raising resources and embracing the changing landscape of college football shaped by the transfer portal and NIL. When they met Curt Cignetti, it wasn't a traditional interview. It was alignment. Cignetti refused to place limits on what Indiana could become, and that mindset resonated throughout Bloomington. Cignetti had built winners everywhere he went. He left Alabama for a massive pay cut to become a head coach, then turned IUP, Elon, and James Madison into successful programs, reaching the playoffs within 2 years at each stop. He didn't chase stars, he chased character, production, and commitment. At Indiana, he built the program in his image, approving every personnel decision and bringing in players and coaches who fit his standard. In 13 seasons as a head coach, he had never posted a losing record, and he wasn't about to start at the toughest rebuild in the sport. After going 11-2 in 2024 and losing to Notre Dame in the playoff, Cignetti knew Indiana wasn't finished. He attacked the transfer portal again, starting with quarterback Fernando Mendoza from California. Overlooked and resilient, Mendoza embodied everything Cignetti valued. Their first conversation was simple and direct: come to Indiana and you'll develop into a great quarterback. Mendoza believed him. He joined a roster that added 22 transfers and returned with a chip on its shoulder, fueled by skepticism and criticism. Leadership quickly emerged. Mendoza made it his mission to learn every teammate's name, caring just as much about walk-ons as stars. In off-season workouts, receiver Elijah Sarrett pushed teammates to do one more rep even after sessions ended. The phrase became a standard, echoing through the program as a symbol of extra effort and relentless discipline. There's good and there's great, Cignetti said. Great takes more. Indiana announced its arrival early. In Week 4, the Hoosiers dismantled number 9 Illinois 63-10, delivering their first top 10 win in years. Then they went on the road and beat number 3 Oregon, securing the program's first-ever road victory against a top 5 opponent. Indiana wasn't surviving games anymore, they were breaking teams. The unofficial motto became clear: make a team quit. When rumors surfaced that Penn State wanted Cignetti after firing James Franklin, Indiana responded immediately, locking him into an 8-year deal worth $11.6 million annually. Then the Hoosiers went to State College. Down late with their undefeated season hanging by a thread, Mendoza led an 80-yard drive in under 2 minutes, capped by a perfectly placed touchdown pass that secured Indiana's first-ever win at Penn State. That moment became a defining symbol of resilience, trust, and belief. Indiana carried that momentum into the Big Ten championship, defeating Ohio State 13-10 for its first conference title since 1967. Mendoza became the first Heisman Trophy winner in school history. In the college football playoff, Indiana shattered expectations again, embarrassing Alabama 38-3 and crushing Oregon 56-22, becoming the first team to win multiple CFP games by 30 points. Indiana didn't win with stacked recruiting classes or national hype. They won with belief, discipline, and a coach who never stopped betting on himself. The Cinderella story is complete whether Curt Cignetti accepts the label or not. And perhaps the most unsettling part for the rest of college football is this: Indiana isn't satisfied. They don't see this as a miracle. They see it as the new standard.